On the moon, the new superpower China has landed its own unmanned spacecraft. The Chang'e 3 rocket and its Jade Rabbit robot will carry out scientific experiments loaded with political matter, another notch in China's ascendancy.
The returner of Chang'e 5 carries around 2 kilograms of lunar samples the probe collected from the moon.
Always the overachiever, China has recently successfully embarked on and returned from a trip to the moon, which involved collecting samples from the moon for testing. As innovative as this first-of-its-kind trip appears, scientists feel the Chinese have again gone ahead to do something they shouldn't have done. What did this trip entail? And most importantly, what did China discover on their journey to the far side of the moon? Join us as we uncover China's shocking discovery on the moon that has left scientists speechless. China's Chang'e 6 trip to the moon. China's Chang'e 6 mission recently brought back lunar samples from the far side of the moon.
China's Chang'e 6 lunar probe's on its way back to Earth after collecting rock and soil samples from the far side of the moon,
marking a significant milestone in lunar exploration. The unmanned Chang'e 6 probe lifted off the moon's surface after collecting samples and unfurling a Chinese flag. Footage of the probe leaving the celestial body went viral on the local social media site Weibo, with people claiming a mark on the ground resembled the Chinese character Zhong. Zhong is the start of the Chinese language word for the communist nation and can also mean middle. A broadcaster named CCTV posted on Weibo that he believed the Chinese character had formed on the back of the moon after the samples were collected at the end of the mission. Thanks to this brave mission, China became the first country to send a space mission to the far side of the moon, also known as the dark side, with its probe landing on June 2nd. Its space agency said Chang'e 6 landed at the South Pole Aitken Basin, spending 2 days collecting samples using a drill and robotic arm. Scientists have been left stunned by China's decision to launch another space station after the Chang'e 5 was launched back in 2020.
Chang'e 5's return module finally brought its lunar samples back to Earth.
However, unlike the Chang'e 5 space mission, the newly designed space station, Chang'e 6 has been recorded to have set a course for the most unfamiliar part of space and returned with evidence of its victory. But that's just the beginning. State news agency Xinhua described the probe's relaunch back to Earth as an unprecedented feat in human lunar exploration history. Scientists say the moon's dark side has now been discovered to be invisible from Earth. This happens not because it never catches the sun's rays, but because its craters are less covered by ancient lava flows than the near side. Experts believe this groundbreaking discovery holds great promise for research, and the Chinese share the same belief. Material collected from this far side will hopefully shed new light on how the moon formed, and thanks to China's space mission, samples have been made available. According to a study published by Chinese scientists, these samples show distinct characteristics compared to previously collected lunar samples. The research, conducted by the National Astronomical Observatories of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, the Lunar Exploration and Space Engineering Center, and the Beijing Institute of Spacecraft System Engineering, revealed important differences.
At the Beijing Aerospace Control Center, there is a software research and development team to provide the important operational platform for the flight control of spacecraft.
The Chang'e 6 soil samples appeared to possess a lower density, indicating a more porous and loosely structured composition than earlier samples. The study also noted that the plagioclase content in the Chang'e 6 samples is significantly higher, while their olivine content is notably lower than the Chang'e 5 samples. The recovery of lunar samples by the Chang'e 5 expedition from the Oceanus Procellarum region of the Moon in December 2020 was a significant achievement. This mission was the first since the 1970s to achieve this, making it an essential milestone in the history of space exploration. The lithic fragment samples acquired from that mission primarily consisted of basalt, breccia, agglutinate, glasses, and leucocrate. However, geochemical analysis has shown that the concentration of trace elements like thorium, uranium, and potassium in the Chang'e 6 samples differs markedly from those gathered by the Apollo missions and the Chang'e 5 mission, as reported by Xinhua News Agency. The Chang'e 6 mission aimed to collect samples from the far side of the moon and bring them to Earth for scientific study, and this was the first such mission in the history of lunar exploration. The mission included an orbiter, a lander, an ascender, and a re-entry module. Luckily for China and the entire world of space exploration, the space mission was a success, and samples have been successfully collected. As China works towards uncovering the mystery of the universe, having taken a step further thanks to the Chang'e 6, scientists believe it is only a matter of time before the dark side is fully explored. Stay tuned as we explore China's first space mission with the Chang'e 5.
Checking in with China's mission to bring back soil samples from the moon, the China National Space Administration says that the ascender of the Chang'e 5 lunar probe has left orbit and landed at a preset point on the moon.
What did China find on the moon? In 2020, Chinese scientists made a significant breakthrough after landing on the moon. This incredible feat gave China the chance to strengthen its status as the third country to ever find a fresh mineral on the moon's surface. Previously, only the United States and the Soviet Union, which no longer exist, had managed to do this before China stepped in. The United States first discovered the mineral during the Apollo moon landing, while the former Soviet Union achieved the milestone with lunar sample return missions. Now, China's Chang'e 5 mission has returned with the first samples to be brought back from the moon in half a century. This also stands as the first ever major discovery by a Chinese mission carrying evidence of the most recent lunar lava ever analyzed. Researchers used only tiny fragments from the 2 kilograms of rock returned last Chang'e 5 lander to confirm predictions about the Oceanus Procellarum region, where the spacecraft had landed. This huge discovery led to a new kind of mineral on the moon in a crystal returned to Earth in the retrieved samples. The mineral, in the form of a single crystalline particle with a diameter of 10 microns, was manually separated by researchers from more than 140,000 tiny particles and then analyzed using a range of advanced mineralogical techniques, but that's not where it ends. The mineral changes site, Y, named after the Chinese moon goddess Chang'e, is known for its columnar crystal formation. This unique phosphate mineral was first identified in lunar basalt particles and has since been thoroughly tested in Chinese laboratories. This is the 6th new mineral discovered by humanity on the moon. The Beijing Research Institute of Uranium Geology isolated the Changesite-Y single crystal during recent studies of lunar particles. This group of scientists made this remarkable discovery thanks to X-ray diffraction techniques. On September 9th, during a press conference, the Commission on New Minerals, Nomenclature and Classification, part of the International Mineralogical Association, announced the discovery of a new mineral.
China has become only the third country to discover a new mineral on the moon. It was found in rock and dust samples retrieved from the moon by China's Chang'e 5 mission.
According to the Global Times, China's state media, the commission confirmed the classification of the mineral. In related research, Chinese scientists have also been studying soil from the Chang'e 5 mission, and they have been reported to have found water molecules in lunar soil. They also identified a hydrated mineral enriched with molecular water while carrying out their studies. Samples brought back by the U.S. Apollo missions in the 1960s and 1970s revealed no traces of water, leading scientists to believe that much of the lunar soil was completely dry. But later remote sensing from lunar satellites detected water on the moon, especially near its colder poles. Now, new research published July 16th in the journal Nature Astronomy has finally found first-hand evidence of the moon's hidden water, potentially laying the groundwork for future resource extraction and base building on our nearest natural satellite. The findings also suggest that water molecules can persist in sunlit areas of the moon as hydrated salts, and it was written by the researchers in the study. Since then, scientists have been analyzing rocks in the returned sample and have now revealed the presence of a mineral that contains more than 40% water. The similarity of the mineral to volcanic rocks found on Earth hints that it was likely produced by now extinct volcanoes on the moon. And it's not just the water's presence that has the scientists excited. Ammonia, another key ingredient of rocket fuel, was also found trapped inside. China is not the only country that seeks to benefit from the moon's natural resources. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson has previously said that the speed and progress of China's lunar missions effectively put the country in a race with the U.S. to get to the moon's south pole. Nelson told lawmakers at a congressional hearing on April 3rd that his concern was that China would eventually tag the area as theirs and tell everyone else to stay out. Because the south pole of the moon is an important part, Nelson believes that there is water there, and if there's water, then there's rocket fuel. Regardless of the scientists' fear, China has still gone ahead to make yet another major discovery on the moon. Keep watching, cause this next part is sure to keep you glued to your screens. Chang'e 5's discovery of graphene on the moon. Chinese scientists have recently made another unusual discovery while analyzing the sample Chang'e 5 collected from the moon's surface in December 2020.
A Chinese spacecraft has returned to Earth with the first samples from the moon in more than 40 years. The robot craft, which didn't have any crew on board, spent 3 weeks in space gathering rocks and soil. The capsule carrying the samples touched down in the northern region of Inner Mongolia.
They surprisingly found naturally occurring few-layer graphene for the first time, as state-run news agency Global Times reports, which could have major implications for humankind's plans to make use of local resources once on the lunar surface. The discovery could also offer new insights into the early geological evolution of the moon. As the South China Morning Post reports, it may even upend a long-held theory that the moon was formed after a small planet collided with the Earth, and that much of its carbon came from this impact. The team, led by researchers from Jilin University, wrote in their paper published in the journal National Science Review that they believe the prevalent giant impact theory has been strongly supported by the notion of a carbon-depleted moon derived from the early analysis of Apollo samples. However, the findings suggest the existence of a carbon capture process on the moon, leading to the gradual accumulation of indigenous carbon. The existence of pure indigenous carbon could challenge the long-held hypothesis that a small planet, roughly the size of Mars, collided with the Earth to form the moon about 4.45 billion years ago. This is a discovery that may reinvent the understanding of chemical components and, if possible, the entire history of the moon. But that's not all. Using a form of non-destructive chemical analysis called Raman spectroscopy, the team confirmed the discovery of a type of few-layer graphene, which is graphene with anywhere between 2 and 10 layers that can also be manufactured in a lab. The researchers suggest the material may have formed as a result of solar wind battering the lunar surface and early volcanic eruptions. The team concluded that further in-depth property investigation of natural graphene would provide more information on the geologic evolution of the moon. Back in 2010, scientists also discovered the first evidence of graphite on the moon, the same carbon-rich stuff used in pencils today, after taking a new look at a lunar rock collected by astronauts nearly 40 years ago. This graphite appears to have originated in a lunar meteorite strike around 3.8 billion years ago, researchers said. It could shed light on cosmic impacts that rocked the moon and our planet just when life was starting on Earth. Scientists found roughly 70 tiny graphite needles, which scientists called whiskers, on a lunar rock from Mare Serenitatis, the Sea of Serenity, brought back in 1972 by Apollo 17, the last of the manned lunar landings. They were originally looking for another mineral, phosphate-rich apatite, as part of research into water on the moon. However, The researchers admitted that meteorites may have still led to the formation of graphitic carbon on the moon, as previous studies have suggested. Researcher Andrew Steele, an astrobiologist at the Carnegie Institution of Washington in Washington, D.C., told the media that they came across the graphite by total accident. The rock in question is an embarked breccia, part of a jumble of smaller fragments that formed when the moon was struck by an asteroid or other object. The researchers suggest this graphite could have come directly from the impactor itself, or formed from the condensation of carbon-rich gas released during the impact. Although past studies of lunar rock have identified carbon-loaded minerals before, this is the first time pure carbon minerals such as graphite were discovered. Previous studies suggested the carbon came from deposits left by solar wind, and the moon graphite formed in a period scientists dub the Late Heavy Bombardment. During this time, the moon, the Earth, and most of the other bodies in the inner solar system underwent massive cosmic impacts. Since craters from this cataclysmic time have eroded on Earth, this graphite on the moon could shed vital clues to this mysterious era. In addition, the fact this form of carbon survived on the moons suggests the lunar surface could still possess remnants of carbon-rich organic molecules from ancient cosmic impacts, the same kind of compounds delivered to the early Earth when life was emerging on our planet. With China actively exploring the moon and bringing about notable discoveries, will they remain at the top of space exploration, or will another country eventually catch up to them? From major projects like the Power of Siberia pipeline and Arctic LNG-2 to advanced high-speed rail lines connecting major cities, these initiatives underline Russia's commitment to innovation and economic growth. Future endeavors include electric river trams, expanded metro lines, and next-generation trains designed for faster, eco-friendly journeys. Moscow 2030 Exhibition. Moscow 2030 exhibition, located in the historic Menage Hall near the Kremlin, gives visitors a look into the future of transport and city life. The show is part of a broader set of events across the city, focusing on how public transport in Moscow has changed over time and will develop soon. By featuring immersive displays and life-size models, this exhibit helps people see how the city evolves from its past to a more modern present. In the first section, visitors step into settings that reproduce what life in older Moscow neighborhoods was like. There are scenes with worn-out fences, informal garages, and simple bus stops that many locals still recall. Video walls show how these spots once looked: old cars, scattered kiosks, and basic roads. The exhibition cleverly shifts between past and present, highlighting how even familiar places have been transformed. Next, the exhibit moves into more recent changes. Modern bus stops with digital screens, bike-sharing spots, and sleek electric buses are on display. Visitors can watch how roads have been updated to prioritize pedestrians and reduce clutter. The contrast is striking. Older footage of cramped vehicles and outdated ticket booths appears beside images of modern card payments, quieter rides, and spacious seating. It shows how progress shapes daily commutes. A standout attraction is the chance to explore real train and bus prototypes inside the hall. One of the highlights is a newly designed electric bus split in half, revealing its interior components. Visitors can see the pantograph charger on the roof and the battery pack beneath the seats. Similarly, modern trains are displayed, showing off features like USB charging, improved ventilation, and wider doorways for easier boarding. Technology plays a big role throughout the exhibition. Interactive screens explain new payment methods, such as facial recognition gates in the metro, which let passengers pass without a card or phone. There is also a focus on electric cars, with prototypes from local makers hinted as the future of private travel. By learning about these plans, people gain insight into the city's efforts to lower emissions and boost convenience. The exhibit also features large video walls that shift scenes from older, crowded streets to modern, open boulevards lined with stylish buses. Short films highlight how Moscow used to rely on basic roads and dated vehicles, Then compare them to new models with improved capacity, comfort, and reliability. Children's areas allow younger visitors to test their road safety knowledge, while families can learn about the steps behind big infrastructure upgrades. By connecting streets to tomorrow's ideas, the Moscow 2030 exhibition proves that transport upgrades can transform daily life. Smart investments will keep the city moving forward for years ahead and thrive overall. Moscow-Kazan High-Speed Railway. The Moscow-Kazan High-Speed Railway is an ambitious project that aims to connect the Russian capital with the historic city of Kazan at remarkable speeds. Planned to stretch around 770 kilometers, this line is expected to cut travel time from the current 12 hours to as little as 3.5 hours. This improvement will allow passengers to save valuable hours on the train, making journeys easier and more comfortable. Once running, trains could reach speeds up to 350 kilometers per hour, or even 400 kilometers per hour in the future, placing this route among the fastest in the region. Though initial work began with excitement, various funding and technical challenges caused some delays. China has shown interest in helping, providing possible loans for financing. There is also talk that this high-speed route might become part of a larger plan to connect Moscow with Beijing, creating a vast rail link across continents. If completed in its fullest sense, it could foster stronger trade ties and tourism between Europe and Asia. Many see the Moscow-Kazan high-speed railway as an important step for Russia's infrastructure growth. By easing transportation between two big cities, it can bring more visitors, reduce road congestion, and support local economies along the route. Construction also offers jobs for engineers, project managers, and railway workers, while boosting local industries that supply materials and services. Despite the optimism, building a railway of this scale is not simple. Russia's climate, large distances, and varied landscapes pose big hurdles. Winter temperatures can be low, and ground conditions, such as permafrost, must be handled carefully. Still, the potential benefits are huge. By offering a modern rail service, this project will not only change local travel, but also highlight Russia's commitment to progress and innovation. Once finalized, this railway could symbolize a new transport era, linking the capital with Kazan in record time and expanding future opportunities across the nation. Electric buses in Moscow. Electric buses with advanced features have become a key symbol of Moscow's push toward cleaner, more modern public transport. These buses rely on electric power and use pantograph charging systems at stops or depots around the city. When a bus needs a boost, the pantograph on its roof connects to an overhead charger, delivering electricity to the batteries quickly. Thanks to this setup, the city can keep more electric buses on the road throughout the day, covering many routes with minimal downtime. Comfort inside each bus is a high priority. Passengers can make use of spacious, well-cushioned seats that often include USB charging ports nearby. Some seats have USB slots right between them, while others place ports on handrails, allowing riders to charge phones or other devices without leaving their seat. Large windows provide a clear view of the city, and interior lighting has been designed to be bright yet pleasant, creating a calm atmosphere. Air conditioning and heating systems keep the temperature at a comfortable level, despite Moscow's cold winters and hot summers. One main benefit of electric buses is their quieter ride compared to older diesel-powered vehicles. With fewer vibrations and less noise, the journey feels smoother. This quiet operation also helps reduce overall city noise pollution, making streets more peaceful for everyone. Additionally, the electric motor produces no tailpipe emissions, improving air quality. This is an important step forward, since busy urban areas often struggle with traffic-related pollution. Moscow takes pride in operating one of the largest fleets of electric buses in Europe. To support them, the city has installed convenient quick-charge stations along major routes. These stations can deliver a substantial amount of power in a short period, allowing drivers to recharge during scheduled breaks without causing big service delays. Even in winter, careful battery management helps keep the buses running reliably, though developers continue to explore better battery technology. Over time, improvements may lead to longer ranges and faster charging. Inside these modern buses, passengers can also find digital displays showing current stops, upcoming destinations, and transfer points. Such helpful information is further supported by voice announcements, which is a big plus for travelers who are new to the city. Some buses even include onboard Wi-Fi, letting people stay connected to the internet during their ride. All these features reflect Moscow's growing focus on advanced infrastructure aimed at making daily journeys more pleasant for commuters while cutting unnecessary pollution. By investing in electric buses with high-tech comforts, the city shows its commitment to smarter, cleaner ways of moving around. As more people experience the quieter rides, modern interiors, and convenient charging options, the popularity of electric buses in Moscow is likely to rise. Over the coming years, these vehicles could become a standard part of every busy route, demonstrating how new ideas can shape a healthier, more efficient future for urban transport. Electric river trams. Electric river trams have become a remarkable part of Moscow's public transport system, allowing residents and tourists to enjoy a cleaner, more peaceful ride along the city's famous river. Introduced as part of the Moscow 2030 plans, these vessels run on electric power, which means they produce no harmful fumes and make much less noise than older diesel-powered boats. By cutting pollution and noise, they help create a calmer city environment and inspire more people to travel by water. One big advantage of these modern trams is their regular schedule. During the busiest seasons, they run often, meaning shorter waits and easier trips for commuters. Instead of sitting in a traffic jam on crowded streets, people can hop onto a sleek boat and cruise along the river. This alternative mode of travel helps reduce road congestion, especially during rush hour, and creates a fresh choice for those who want a break from typical city buses or cars. These electric trams also feature comfortable seating, spacious interiors, and climate control that adapts to both summer heat and winter chills. Designers made sure to include large windows so riders can admire well-known sights such as the Kremlin or St. Basil's Cathedral, all while relaxing in a cozy seat. Because the ride is calm and less noisy, it is perfect for anyone looking to unwind after a busy day or to show friends around the city. For people unfamiliar with Moscow's geography, these trams can be an easy, scenic way to see major attractions without getting tangled in street traffic. By linking different parts of the city along the river, they spread out foot traffic and steer visitors away from certain crowded hotspots. You can board at a convenient dock, enjoy the waterfront views, and step off near famous museums or parks. This helps balance out the flow of tourists, making it simpler for everyone to explore Moscow at their own pace. Safety is a core part of the design. Each tram is equipped with high-quality battery systems, onboard navigation tech, and staff trained to handle emergencies. During colder months, batteries do face extra strain, but improvements in battery performance help these vessels remain reliable. Engineers keep working on fresh ways to protect the electrical systems from severe temperature drops. By focusing on maintenance and constant innovation, officials hope winter weather will cause fewer problems over time. The boarding process is straightforward, thanks to modern docks that align with the tram entrances. This makes it easier for parents with strollers, older passengers, or anyone carrying heavy bags. Digital screens often display route maps, upcoming stops, and helpful reminders in multiple languages. This benefits non-Russian speakers who want to enjoy a day of sightseeing without fuss. Some trams also provide free Wi-Fi, letting passengers stay connected or plan their next move online. Overall, electric river trams symbolize Moscow's desire to embrace greener transport and forward-thinking solutions. By mixing comfort, style, and convenience, these vessels have reshaped local travel. They offer pleasant journeys for daily commuters and curious visitors, giving them a chance to witness famous city landmarks from a brand new angle. As this program expands, Moscow is likely to see more people riding the river, enjoying a quiet, scenic route that respects the environment and highlights the capital's ever-growing commitment to progress. Facial recognition payment system in the metro. In Moscow's metro system, a new facial recognition payment method has started appearing at select stations, offering travelers a swift way to pay their fare. Let us know what you think in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You will love it.